Hi friends, my name is Aqil Ahmed, and in this particular video tutorial I will show you how to check the error message of a failed SQL job. So the agenda of today's video tutorial is that when the SQL Server job failed, then how we can check the error message, like what is the reason of the failure. So without wasting further time, let's jump to the demo. So I got an SSIS package which simply loads the data from a folder into the SQL Server table. Okay, so this particular package actually loads the data from this folder, D files, Apple folder, all the files it loads to the sellers table. So right now this table is empty. Okay, so this package is already deployed to the SSIS catalog. If you see here, you can see that inside the SSIS DB there is a test folder, and inside the test folder it is deployed into the projects. Okay, and if you expand the project, so you can see the package. So this is the package which is already deployed, and we already have a SQL agent job with the name of test. Okay, so this job actually called the SSIS package, which is deployed on the SSIS catalog, and then it imports the data to the sellers table. So right now there are 1000 records in the sellers.csv file, and yeah, so there are 1000 records in this particular file, and in the second file it contains 13 records. First line is the header line, so that's why it contains 13 records. Now let me execute the package and let me show you like how it will work, and then when the package will fail, then how we can check the error messages. So the first time it will run fine because the files are good and it can import the data. So the package is running right now. So the package got completed successfully, and if you check the data now, so there are 1013 records, because from one file it loaded 1000 records and from another file it loaded 13 records. So now let me truncate the tables. So the package is running fine. If you want to see the history of the SQL job, so you can right click on it, go to view history, and here you can see that the job is running fine. This got completed successfully, and if you move to the right side, you can see the time taken by this job during the execution. So it took 12 seconds. Okay, so this is working fine. If you want to check like which package the job is calling, so you can go to the properties of the SQL agent job, and you can click on the steps, and inside the step you can see what different steps are there. Sometimes there can be multiple steps, but in this particular case there is only one step, like call SSIS package. So if you click on the edit button, so this will show you like which SSIS package it is actually calling. So right now this is calling this SSIS package from the SSIS DB catalog, and this particular SSIS DB, this is situated on this particular SQL Server instance. Okay, sometimes what can happen that the package can be stored on the file system as well. So sometimes it can be file system, and then you can get the location of the package, like where the package is actually situated. So you might have the package here as well, but this is not the case with this particular condition, that the package is stored on the SSIS DB catalog. So I can click on cancel, and I can click cancel. So now because the package ran fine and it loaded the data, so we are good, we are happy. Now sometimes what can happen that the package can fail, and there can be a number of reasons for the failure of the package. Like sometimes the file that we are trying to load, the file format might be different. We might get a new file and the format of the file is not good, or maybe the SQL Server table structure got changed, or maybe there is not enough space on the server, there is some memory issue, or there can be a number of reasons, like the user who is running the package, his permissions might be revoked, or there can be a lot of reasons for the failure of the package. Okay, so we need to understand like what is the reason, and most of the time whatever may be the reason of the failure, if you Google it, and then most of the time you can get the actual reason, like what is the reason for the failure. The reason, like how we understand that what is the reason, it comes with the experience. As long as you work with the SSIS and you work with the SQL Server, so you will start understanding the reason of the failure. Okay, so if you are working for SSIS, then when you develop the package and the package fails, then you understand like what is the reason of the failure. So if I want to fail this particular process, then what I can do, in the first file sellers.csv, I can actually add a new column, or I can remove an existing column. I can do anything. So let me just add a new column. So I just added a new column test, but I have not added the corresponding data to this particular file. And even if I add the corresponding data as well to all the records, even then the SSIS package will fail, because when the package was developed, there were only these columns, the columns till country. These were the only columns at that time when the package was developed, and the package has the metadata for all these columns only. Now if you are trying to add more columns to the file, then the package will fail. It's very metadata specific. And even if you are using some other process as well, and if you just modify the structure of the file, then that process will fail, until unless it is designed to import all the columns. Okay, so let me close this one. When we develop the SSIS package, so we select the columns those we want to import. So that's why if any change will be happen to the file, then the process will fail. Now because we change the structure of the file, now if you will rerun the SQL agent job, then the job will fail. So we need to see like what is the reason of the failure and how we can see the failure messages, all these things. Okay, so job is running right now. So now you can see that the job got failed here. The status, you can see that error. So I can close this one. Now what I can do, I can right click on the job and click on view history. So here you can see that the most recent run, this is saying as failed. Okay, so if I expand this one and if I click here, so on the lower side I can see the error message. So it is showing like executed as this user, and this is saying that to view the details of the execution, right click on the integration services catalog and open the all executions report started, this one. So the reason is because the package is deployed in the SSIS catalog, so that's why you can see the details of the failure there itself. If the package was situated on locally, like if the package was on the file system, and while creating a SQL agent job, if you have directly given the path of the package, then you might be able to see the error message here itself. But now because the package is situated inside the integration services catalog, then you need to go to integration services catalog and see the error message there. So let's go to the SSIS DB catalog and see the error message. So let me close this one. Now if you go to the SSIS DB, so this is integration services catalog, and inside the SSIS DB you can see the folder like where the package is deployed. So our package is deployed to this folder, and this is the project name. So I can right click on the project and go to the reports, and I can go to all executions. So it will show me all the executions of the process, like how many times this process was executed in past. So I ran it multiple times. So the last time when we ran it, so it was successful, so you can see that it was succeeded, so it ran fine. Now this time when I executed it, so this time it got failed. So if you want to see the failure message, you can also see the time here, like the start time was 11:07 when it got failed. Okay, so if you want to see the error message, then you need to click on all messages. Now if you come inside the all messages, then you can see the package name here. The package name is this one, package.dtsx, and this one message source name, this is the name of the task, that got failed, and this is the error message. The column delimiter for column country was not found. This error happens when there is a layout change. I mean, if there is a new column or the column got changed, and if there is bad data in the file, so at that particular time, if the delimiter are not correct, then this particular error occurs. So the last column that initially was, the last column was country, but now because after the last column there is one extra column, so that's why it's saying that the delimiter is not correct for this particular column. So the error is coming from the data flow task. So if you open the SSIS package, so this is the data flow task which is failing, so that's why it has given the source name, the data flow task name, because this data flow task is now failing. Even if I execute the SSIS package from here, then it will fail as well, because the file is not good. So that's why the data flow task is failing. So that's why it is giving the same error, that the data flow task, it is failing, and it is failing on the flat file source. And if you go inside the data flow task, then you can see that it is failing on flat file source. So you can see all the error messages here, and you just need to understand looking at the error message. So if you scroll down, you can see further all the messages, like all the events you can see, like on pre-validate, pre-execute, all the events you can see here, on information, on post validate event, and then there is an on error event. So you can see all the events here, and you can see all the logging here. Okay, so SSI, this SSIS DB catalog, this is very good for looking at the failure messages and the successful execution details. So you can see like how much time it is taking to run, like 7 seconds and 2.76 seconds. So you can see all the details here, and what is the start time of the package and time of the package. Okay, and 3 times it got succeeded and 2 times it got failed, and in case if it will be running, then you can see that it is running as well. So you can see all the details here. Yes, I think that was for today's video, and you can create your own package and you can deploy them. And if you do not know like how to deploy the package, then maybe I can share the link of a video like how you can deploy the package to the SSIS catalog. Thank you guys for watching the video, and if you like the video, then please click the like button, do subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon and click on all so that you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much.